So there's an image of a little car, a model of a vintage car. The nameplate, this was actually made by students doing a holography course which ran many years ago. The date on it is 1987. So that hologram is, what does that work out to be, 30 years old almost, but it's still pretty good. It hasn't decayed much, or at all. And that's a transmission hologram. You're looking at it at light which has been hits the plate, it goes through the plate, it comes out the other side. And we're looking at it in the same colour light that it was made with, green. You can also see this in the red laser, but the car gets a bit squashed and the angle is different. It still works, but it's somewhat distorted. And if you try and look at it with white light, what happens is that you just get a blur of colours, because you get different images of the car reproduced in different directions. So you can't see any discernible image there, it's just a blur, a rainbow blur. But again, people have worked out ways in which you can get around that and actually use that image blur effect to advantage. And this here is an example of a hologram which was recorded with laser light, but you can view it in white light because it also acts as a dispersion for the white light, like a prism, so that it spreads out the wavelengths into different directions in such a way that you can see the image. And as well as that, since we have control over the direction in which light rays are going, we can superimpose different images onto the same plate from different directions. And as we're lifting the camera up and down, you can see that the image is changing. There you have a pine cone with open fronds, leaves, scales, and as you come down, we have an image with closed scales. So there's actually 3 different stages of growth there recorded on the same plate, and you see them from different directions. How big the object is or where it is. The object can be in front of, behind the plate, anywhere you like. So here's an example. This is at a holography conference. I just took these pictures with an ordinary camera. This plate is around about a metre wide, a bit less than a metre tall. What it is a picture of a cityscape. But it was taken from, I would guess, a series of aerial photographs. But you'll notice that it's also in colour. The colours aren't sort of exactly real, but there's certainly differences between the red roofs and the colours of the grey walls and so on. And what I'm doing there is just walking from one side to the other and keeping the movie going so you can see the 3D effects. Here's another one, useful for advertising purposes. You'll notice that one side here you lose the image, and this is because the system that produced this hologram had a limitation on the maximum angle that you could view it with. Remember that it's all about recording directions as well as angles, so you've got to think about these things when you're making the hologram as well as when you're viewing them. But that one was probably, I'm not sure, but I think this one's probably produced with a real motorbike with a camera on a track running across in front of it and taking a whole lot of pictures, maybe 1,000 images or something across that range of different directions, and then assembling them into a single hologram. Moving images, how about making a holographic video? Big problem here is the